guys, Ella here. I'm a writer in progress, and every day I work hard towards being okay with that. Today in my video, I want to talk about inspiration and how you can regain your creativity after you've lost it. Let's get started. We've all been there. You're writing your book every day, you're working on your manuscript, you're editing, you're drafting, you're doing what you need to do. And then one day you wake up and you're like, I have no idea what to write. You don't want to write, you have no inspiration. You literally feel like you're stuck. I've been there too, and it sucks. It's one of the most devastating and disappointing feelings that a writer can feel. Writer's block is horrible, and when you've lost your inspiration, you feel like you've lost everything. I have 5 tips that work for me when I feel like I've lost my inspiration, and I'm dealing with writer's block. So let's go over them. Tip number 1. Read through your notes and revisit your outline. You have entire drafts full of notes, documents, notebooks, everything. Read through them. I want you to pull out every note you ever took about your book because all of them contain the reasons you loved it in the first place. Even if you have to take a blank page of paper and write down a list of all the reasons you love this book, all the reasons you're passionate about writing, write them down and then keep that page and revisit it when you're in writer's block, when you've lost your inspiration. It's going to remind you of the reason you picked this book in the first place. So go through your notes, read your outline, tweak it if you have to, or look forward to a point in the book that you're excited about writing and write that part. Who said you have to write in a linear fashion? I like to break the rules when I need to. If it works for you, then do it. So take out your book. If you have any of your draft already written, start from the beginning, read through it. Even if you have to give in to your inner editor to make you love your book again, do it. There aren't any rules. If anything is going to help you overcome writer's block, give into it. So that's my first tip. Read through your notes, revisit your outline, read your draft, immerse yourself in your own writing, and feel passionate about it again. Fall in love with your story. One more time. Alright, tip number 2. This one's for more of us visual learners. I love getting inspired from my book by looking at pictures. Pinterest is one of the greatest apps for that. You have literally hundreds of thousands of pictures that can inspire you to write and fall in love with your book again. I have 3 Pinterest boards dedicated to my work in progress. I have one that's for the theme and motifs of the book. Things that really get deep into why I wanted to write this book in the first place, the themes that I wanted to explore. And that one really helps me reorient myself in what this book is about and why I wanted to write it in the first place. I have another board that's dedicated to overall just inspiration, pictures that make me think of scenes in the book, pictures that make me imagine my characters interacting with each other, dialogue, anything. And then I have an entire other board dedicated to the characters themselves. Pictures of women and men who remind me of my characters, who make me want to write them because they're so awesome, and I created these people. So Pinterest is an amazing resource, and I want you to use it. If you're ever in writer's block, log on to Pinterest, make an account, and type in writing inspiration. That's literally all you have to do, or character inspiration, or dialogue. Anything that you think is going to help you want to write some more, do it. Another great resource for getting inspired if you're not so much a visual learner is Spotify. Making a Spotify playlist for your novel is an awesome resource, and you can listen to it every time you write. I find having a writing routine or a writing ritual like that, listening to the exact same playlist that you created inspired by your book, is going to help you every time you sit down to write. It's going to tell your brain, hey, this is writing time. This is my writing playlist. And then you're going to write. It works. I know it sounds stupid, but it works. So make that playlist. Find songs that remind you of your characters or your scenes or your genre and put them all in a playlist. You can make playlists for specific chapters, for specific moods, or just for your book in general. Make playlists for characters. It's an awesome resource just like Pinterest, and it's going to help you overcome your writer's block and make you passionate about writing again. Another great resource for combating writer's block is art. If you're someone who can draw, or you know someone who can draw, or you have the type of money that you can commission artwork for your novel, do it. This is an amazing resource. You can see your inspiration and your creativity come to life. If you want to make a YouTube video of like a trailer for your book, or you want to draw out a scene, make a comic, do it. All of this is just going to help reinforce why you loved it in the first place. Anything that you have to do is worth it if you're going to sit down and write the book. So if you're creative and you can draw, or you know someone who can draw, then have them help you out. Sometimes I even do it and I can't draw at all, and I'll just do little stick figure scenes. And even then, it kind of works. It inspires me and it makes me want to do it better. And I know personally that because I can't draw and I really suck at it, the only way I can do it better is if I sit down at my computer and I actually write. It works. Alright, let's move on to tip number 3. This is my personal favorite tip. Talk to someone about your book. I do this all the time when I'm stuck at a plot hole, or I've lost my inspiration, or I feel just kind of blah about the entire book. I'll call up one of my friends, or my sister, or a coworker, or even my mom sometimes, and just talk to them. You don't even need them to interact with you, honestly. You just use them as a sounding board, and you talk through all of your problems or your issues that you're having. And then you work through it. I do it all the time. I mean, sometimes I don't even need another person there. You can just talk to yourself out loud, or your dog, or your cat, or a stuffed animal. It really doesn't matter. Talking out loud helps you hear the problems that you're having. It's almost like your brain understands it differently than when you write it down. So talk out loud to someone. Talk about your book. Talk about your themes. Talk about your conflicts. Talk about your characters. Read scenes from your book out loud. They'll come to life for you and you'll get more passionate about it. You might even solve some problems. And maybe people can help you with that. I find getting a second opinion is one of the greatest resources if you're stuck at a certain part of your book. You know your brain and your creativity, but someone else could have an entirely different solution. And maybe that solution is just what you need. Or maybe it'll inspire you to come up with an even better idea. Okay, let's move on to step 4. Do something different. Maybe the reason that you're stuck or you have writer's block is just because you're sick of your own writing routine. This happens sometimes when we've done the same thing every time because it worked up until now, but now it's not working, so we have to change it up. I love to write in my room. It's the place I feel the most comfortable and the most happy. But sometimes I get sick of looking at the same 4 walls and sitting on my bed with my laptop. So I bring my laptop somewhere else. Sometimes just moving a room in my own house can help. Going into the living room, working there, working in my spare room, or even in the summertime, taking my laptop outside. I find being in nature, when it's warm and the birds are singing and there's people walking around and you're interacting with nature, you can be so much more creative. Distraction is awesome when you're writing or when you're stuck. I love people watching when I have writer's block. If you're stuck on character motivations or even just expanding your characters into more three-dimensional beings, people watching is one of the greatest resources that you have at your fingertips all the time. Everybody has their own idiosyncrasies, their own ways of talking, their own gestures and body movements. Learn that, study it in other people, and then see what inspires you to create your own characters or to enrich the characters that you already have. Sometimes just writing in a new environment can inspire us. It can create a sense of renewal, and it feels like we're back at the beginning almost, like this idea is fresh and new. Sometimes I love going to the library to write because it's a place that I feel like reinforces the idea of work. It's quiet, no one distracts you, no one bothers you while you're there, and you're there to work. I know when I'm at home, I get distracted all the time by Twitter and Tumblr and Reddit and talking to my parents or looking at my phone to see who's texted me. When I'm at the library or I'm at a coffee shop, I feel like I'm more focused on getting work done because I've left the comfort of my house and now I know that I have to write. So go to a coffee shop, bring your laptop to the library, or go outside and work at a local park. Do what you have to do to get inspired again and to get unstuck. Change your environment. It works. Now, if you don't have access to bring your laptop or a notebook somewhere else with you, something that you can do to kind of distract your brain and let your subconscious solve any of your plot problems or character issues in the background is stop writing. I know it sounds weird, but it works. Stop writing. Do a mundane task. I love doing things like cleaning my room or doing laundry or taking a shower. All of those things that you do by rote that you don't have to think about can help your subconscious mind work in the background and solve problems. I get the most inspiration from my book when I'm in the shower, which is awful because I have nowhere to write it down, so I just have to like repeat it in my head constantly until I can get to a notebook or my phone. But it works. Distract your mind. Do something that you don't have to think about. Do a mundane task. Load the dishwasher, wash the dishes, walk the dog. Do something else. It's gonna help your subconscious work through the problem on its own. And then you'll be inspired to write again when you've solved the problem. Alright, step 5, and this one is a doozy. Because if you've tried all these steps and still nothing has worked and you still had writer's block, guess what? You have to write through it. You can't stop writing. That's gonna be the worst thing you can do because once you've stopped writing, it's so hard to get back into the rhythm of it. You need to keep up your writing routine, even if it's hard and even if you think that your writing sucks. Brandon Sanderson has this quote, and it says, write it badly, write it badly, write it badly, write it badly. It's all about first drafts, and he knows that in order to get your first draft done, sometimes your writing has to suck, because all a first draft has to do is exist. It doesn't have to be good. No one's gonna read it, only you. So sometimes when you're stuck and you can't find inspiration no matter what you do, sit your butt down and write. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. All it has to do is get from your brain onto a piece of paper or onto your computer. So there you go. That's my advice for combating writer's block and getting over your loss of inspiration. Inspiration is such an amazing thing, but it's not always going to be there. We can't always count on our muse to work every time. We need dedication and to have responsibility to our own writing. Do it every day. That way it becomes a routine and you won't even have to think about it. And sometimes when it's not coming naturally and you don't feel like you're writing great, you'll still do it because you know it's important and that you have to. Okay guys, those are my 5 steps for overcoming writer's block and regaining your inspiration. I hope they helped you out and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!